Pete's Radio World, where radios are the only thing on TV.
Whoa, what do we have here? Welcome to Pete's Radio World. I have a Skymaster all transistor radio, early set in pure yellow. It's kind of a translucent looking yellow, kind of a Shortoise looking yellow compared to like the Holiday back here. You can see in the back, see how much more vibrant the yellow is on the two portable Carlton in the back. So it's kind of it's really a kind of a Shortoise almost, Shortoise, but it is yellow. Just these are, I just like these sets a lot. They're some of my favorites. They say Skymaster all transistor on them, and I believe they made these in some different versions. It's got a reverse painted dial here, kind of a gold knob on it. Over here, and they like to put this dollar symbol anchor on them here in the corner. That's a real common for them to have. Here is another version of the radio. Here's another version of the radio in Mantone in blue. This one does have, this one says Mantone 4 transistor. This is transistor radio on it. This one here says all transistor radio on it on the dial. On the Mantone, they have a crown on it here for the insignia. You can see it here, and the other ones they put anchors on them. This version of the Mantone, I'd have to say this one is a lot more rare than the Skymaster, and that version of it. They also made this one's here is missing the chevron. This should have this dial in it. Unless this version never had it, but I doubt it. I believe this has fallen off. Again, it's got the reverse painted dial. This is in a blue color, and this is in yellow. Now the Mantone, if you look at the backs of these, the Mantone says Japan 4 transistor, and the Skymaster says Japan, like the same body. This was TR4 on it. Now, looking at these radios, now you can really see, I talked about the translucidity of this right here, and you can really see it in the back here. You can see the label popping through on the back here. You can see the color change, and I believe this is probably the speaker right here, but you can see the color differences between. So the casings on these are translucent. I'll do a slow little turn here. This is the earphone jack right here. That's the earphone jack on the radio. The Mantone also has the earphone jack right here. Looks like they might have used a little different variety earphone jack, but this radio is just, come on. If you don't like this radio, you're not a transistor collector, in my opinion. I mean, it's got it going on, man. It's got the cool color. It's got great styling. I mean, I think they're just fantastic style radio. I really do. They also put, you can see the weave on the grill looks kind of cool too. You know, then the grill, look at how they made the grill kind of go in, tuck in like that, and then the chevron badge. It's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. It's got the little anchor, the anchor. This is an early set, and I was just looking at this on the inside. This has got the newer style 9-volt battery lead. I also have another version over here. Now I'll show you this radio before we get to the inside. Here's the side of it. I showed the back, the top of it. There's the top of the radio, and there's the on and off volume control. In the bottom, got a little coin slot on it. Here's the version of this radio, and here's another one of my real all-time favorites because you call it a web design, I guess. Look at the grill on this one. I mean, whoa, that is pretty far out. Now comparing these radios, let me see if I can pull out a little bit here. There's the man tone back here. Comparing these radios, they look pretty much same thing, other than this, like I said, this is missing a chevron badge. It should have had the chevron badge in it. And it's got a crack, but ain't no big deal. It does have a different different grill in it. Look at the grill. The grill. Well, we know the grill's different, but behind it, the fabric they put on it, and the fabric they put on this one is a little different. I don't know if you can see it. They're the same bodies. They're in the grills. They say the same thing on the back. Now these are, they say Japan, TR4 on them. Getting into the insides of this, I was talking about the batteries. This does not have a label on the inside. This is the Skymaster. I mean, this is the web grill design. I'd have to say the label fell off. It happens to a lot of the radios. Here is, I'll get a little picture here. Here's the insides. This is the Skymaster. Well, they're both Skymasters. This is the one with the grill like the man tone, and this is the web grill. This one does have a label on it. It doesn't tell you much of nothing, other than it's been inspected and it's made in Japan, and it's got a little small schematic with components on it in that. Very small schematic. Now, this doesn't have nothing on it. I'm sure the label fell off. Sometimes when you look at these radios, they have, some of them are done, they're mainly the ones with the swing handles will have the plug-in transistors. These do not have plug-in transistors. You're looking at these radios. I've seen some versions that, sometimes people take the batteries off them instead of, a lot of this style radio ran the old style 9-volt with the twin with leads on both ends of them. They're round. Both these radios don't, and I was thinking that maybe someone changed the battery leads on them. But now that I'm looking at these radios and thinking about it, I think these were later. I don't think these ever come. Looking at these radios, they look like these are from the factory. They really do. And I gotta think, now that I'm looking at these, I think these were later versions. They don't have the plug-in transistors. A lot of the style radio with with the small swing handle. The ones I really like a lot. These small Harley radios right here with the swing handles. A lot of these had plug-in transistors on them. I don't know if this one did. This is where you'll see a lot of times when people change the batteries out on the radios and took the old style 9-volt lead off them. Yeah. See, I think these are just an earlier version. If you look at the inside of this radio, this is the old style 9-volt lead. They were round batteries. This is a very early radio. It's got the plug-in top hat transistors. These plug into the chassis. This has always been one of my favorite radios, these small little radios with the swing handle. They made some different versions. But I really like these radios a lot. These were built in about 1958 range. These right here. We'll get back to the Skymasters. They're very, very, very sweet little radios. There's not a lot of difference in the inside of these if you look at them. They're running the same speaker. This one was put in the opposite direction of what this one. It didn't matter how they sat in it apparently. It seems like they would because of how the leads were on them, but you can't see how they put the. Well, basically, it looks like these are the same things. I see this cap up here is different than that one. This one looks a little bigger. Probably a couple wires. This one's got a big white wire right here. This one here looks like it's in a different position. Probably how they were routed. A couple of different components. I can see over here now. They could have been changed over the years. It's really hard to say. All manufacturers had different changes in their productions, when they built them. But we're focusing. I get going in different directions here when I do this. But this is the Skymaster all transistor radio. You can see the inside. Let's stick a battery in it real quick. I don't know if I have one here. I think this battery may not be any good. This one right here. Let's see if it'll fire up. Pete's Radio World here. We're going to put a battery in this. I just checked the other one and it was about 9 volts in that range. It seemed to be alright. This one's got a little more power, but I would have to say this radio is a non-worker. Yeah, nothing going on in this radio. Oh, a little short in the battery. Yeah, I got a little noise for a second. Chassis kind of bouncing around. Looks like it's missing a screw here in the chassis, and there's kind of wiggling a little bit. I noticed when I was tuning the dial's moving. Yeah, it's missing a screw. Yeah, it happens to them. They get loosened up and fall out. But there's the inside of the radio. That's the metal tuner. This is a 4 transistor radio. There's one transistor there. 2, 3, 4. It looks like they're all Hitachi transistors. There. There's one up there. Got the speaker and the metal tuner, the antenna. It runs a regular style 9-volt. Non-working. Yeah, these are a real thick plastic. I don't know. I like to refer these to them like they're a real thick, kind of a brittle plastic, really hard plastic. You know, so if they chip, they'll probably take a chunk right out of it. I think they might be in a Euro type plastic. Again, there's the side. That's the earphone jack. On top of the radio. Coin slot on the bottom. Made in Japan. TR4 embossed in the bottom. Paper label on the inside just identifies it as being inspected in the schematic. There's no model number on the inside. They probably put it here, is probably why they never did. There's the top of it. You can see this type of plastic always has like a, it reminds me of Ploskin. How a lot of times Ploskin will have, like you can see the lines in it, you know, from the molds or the that's what it kind of reminds me of. And there's the front of the radio. They're just gorgeous little sets. I mean, they really are a neat little radio. I got my lights over here. I think I should have really put them up a little closer to the front there. But yeah, that's the Skymaster all transistor radio. How you like that one? That's a cool one, isn't it? And if you took that baby and showed your buddies that you had this radio, you were you were pretty you had the latest and the greatest. So you had this thing when you were young. Pretty neat little radio. There's the yellow one. There's the Mantone. Let's slide these over here. Here's the other version of the. I think I can get them all in. Now I'm going to throw something else in the front of it real quick. This is a little different version too. This had some right here. Now looking at the radio, you would think that it was the same radio, but it's really not. It's totally different. Other than having the same type of a plastics and that in them. You can see the height difference. This is like trapezoid shaped. It angles up when it comes up, where these radios are square. These are square, and these are like trapezoid. Size-wise, they're almost the same thing. I think they're really hard to tell. Size-wise, the bodies on them are slightly different. Let me get a little closer here. You can see the difference in the bodies in the radios. I'll put the little. Get these out of the way. You can see how the front of this radio is all one piece. The other one's tapered down here. Earphone jack's on the bottom. The other one's tapered down, then tapered up. Chassis wise and that, they're about the same place. Look at how where they put the dial, how they off centered the dial. It looked like they ran the same badge on them with the anchor. Looked like the same thing. Dial looks really similar, but this doesn't have the big cut notches in it. Like this one's got real fine notches in it. The grill design itself looks the same. Looks like the cloth grill's the same. And that design is the same on them. Like I say, looking at them at first, you kind of think that they're the same, but they're not. Totally different. This one here again is like the yellow one, where the see how it's like a really translucent. You can see the label. On the red one, you can see the label popping through in the back. It just says Japan on it. We'll take a quick look at this one in the inside. This is a much earlier version than the other one. You can see, look at the trapezoid shape. You can really see it in the back. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but it does have a lot of trapezoid. It does have a slight trapezoid look to it. Down here is wider than up here. This one just says it's a 4-transistor radio, portable radio. It's got the schematic layout. This has got a really pretty big diagram where the battery is and the transistors, the TA, the power amp, in it. Audio amp, the 9-volt battery, what it takes. It's got a nice diagram, then it also has a schematic. But looking on the inside of this radio, this takes the real early 9-volt battery, but look at these transistors in here. I don't know what this one is. This might be an NEC. It's got ovals in it. These are Hitachi ovals. You see, it's Hitachi. This is a 4-transistor. It's got 3 Hitachi ovals in it. Then it's got this other one up here, the round one. That looks like it might be an NEC. I don't know what manufacturer that one is. But yeah, this is a really early version right here of this radio. Very early version. So that's just a short look at the inside of this radio, just for a little comparison to the the station indicator. It does have the civil defense on it. This is all transistor, Hedson, on and off volume. Alright, that in itself is a pretty sweet radio. There's the side of it. It just is embossed in the back with Japan. Raised lettering in the back. So which one would you pick? Would you pick the Hudson? No, I wouldn't do that. They're all very unique little radios. We got the Hudson, all transistor. You got the cool little very cool little Skymaster. You got the Mantone. And we got the web grill. I like the web grill. That's gotta be one of my favorites, the web grill design. I just really think that's pretty unique. In its own right. It just is very unique, the design of the grill on these. I mean, we, like I said, we didn't get talking too much, but these little guys, these are probably some of my favorites. They really are. I like these early little sets like this. I just think they're really cool. There's a little Harley. I got Harley Davidson, but which is spelled a little different. But I like these little Harley ones. They're beautiful looking. They're black. This is just like a clear dial, and they have like a plate back there in the back sitting on these right here. This radio, the condition of this thing is just, oh gosh, look at this thing. I'll spin it around. You can see the condition of this radio. It's just stunning. It really is for the age of this thing. It is a beauty. It is a striking beauty. It's kind of cool about these radios, you know, they got the great swing carrying handle, but you can also, you can bring them down, you can prop them up like that to play, you know, in the back. But they sit real nice too, right on the back part. You know how they're made. They're made, you know, not even sitting on the handle. You know, you can keep the handle up in the air. They made where they're projecting. You know, they're not like that. Well, you can set them like that, but they're designed, you know, where they can sit like that. I don't know if they actually designed them that way, or was the fluke when they designed it, but. So this is Pete's Radio World, signing out with another adventure that comes to an end with a small little transistor radios. Mr. Skymaster says, Pete's Radio World, tune in or tune out.